Hi, I'm Rockin Robin from CookingMexicanRecipes.com, and today I am making a classic Italian dessert called tiramisu, which I just totally, absolutely love. One thing about this recipe is I decided to make it egg-free because some of you might be concerned about using raw eggs in your recipe. So if you want me to make it with eggs, I make it that way a lot, and I can make a video for you. So just leave a comment below and let me know. All right, let's go over our ingredients. The first thing we're going to start with are the Ladyfingers. Now I'm going to have two kinds here today because I'm going to make part of this batch gluten-free, and we're going to use this brand here called Schar, which works really, really well. It works. It's really good for this recipe. Now the second one, which most people will want to use, is this brand here, which is called Savoiardi, I believe. It's an Italian ladyfinger. And then we have our mascarpone cheese, which is an Italian soft cheese. We need about a pound of that. I'm going to be using some baker's sugar. This is very fine, it's ultra fine, and the sugar just blends in a lot easier and nicer for when you're mixing it in, and it's not gritty at all. We're going to use about 3 cups of strong coffee or espresso coffee. That's what I have here. It's cooling off. I want it to be nice and cold before we use it. Now my flavoring is going to be Amaretto. This liqueur works wonderful for this, and I think it makes it really special when you use this. You can use other types of flavorings like Marsala wine would be good, or rum, or even Kahlua, but this one, in my opinion, tastes the best. All right, so then we're going to use some nice fine chocolate here. I use this brand, Scharffen Berger. It's got 62% cacao chocolate. It's a semi-sweet, and it's expensive, but it is worth it. Next, we're going to be using some vanilla extract. Use the real thing, don't use imitation. And here we've got some heavy whipping cream. Again, I really do like the one that's completely natural. It doesn't have any other ingredients other than heavy cream. All right, so the first thing we want to do is whip up our cream, and I'm going to pour in my heavy cream into the bowl. I'm going to use a mixer here. You can do it by hand if you want, and we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm going to go ahead and start mixing this. I'm going to add the sugar a little bit at a time. Okay, we've got our cream mixed up, nice and fluffy, and we're going to put this in the refrigerator while we're mixing the rest of our ingredients. Next, we're going to put our mascarpone cheese in our bowl. I let this set out for just, 10 minutes or so it can soften a little bit. And then to this, we're going to add our sugar. As soon as I get that in there. So I've got about a quarter of a cup of sugar, and I'm just going to stir this to combine it. It just takes a few minutes. Just work with it a little bit, it'll soften up. And this is where using that ultra-fine sugar really does help, because it'll mix in nicely and won't be gritty. All right, so now that I've got most of the sugar, I think I've got it all blended in, I'm going to add the Amaretto, and I'm going to add about a quarter of a cup to this mixture. And I'm going to blend this in. So this is going to take just a few minutes to get this blended as well. And this is going to give it that wonderful flavor. All right, so now I've got the Amaretto all mixed in. And now I'm going to add the whipping cream. I'm going to start with about half of it first, and I'm going to fold it in. So folding it in, you just go in the center and you just roll it around like this. Do it gently so that it doesn't deflate too much. And this is going to make it nice and fluffy. And once I get all that combined, we'll be ready to start dipping our ladyfingers into the coffee. All right, so now we're gonna mix up our coffee mixture. We're gonna add our sugar and some amaretto to that as well. So here we go. I'm gonna start with another 1/4 cup of amaretto. I'm gonna add it to the coffee, which has cooled now. We want it to be cold so that it doesn't make our ladyfingers mushy. And I'm gonna add a couple of tablespoons of sugar. And then I'm gonna stir it up and adjust the flavor to that. Okay, so we'll see how that tastes. I don't want this to be real bitter tasting, so I'm going to take a little taste. That works nicely. Okay, that's good, just the way it is. We're ready to assemble. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways in which to serve up our tiramisu. Now, one is going to be an individual glass. It's kind of nice sometimes if you just take a glass and you just fill it and everybody gets their own individual. So here we go. I'm going to take one of my gluten-free ladyfingers, and you always want to use the kind that are kind of crispy and crunchy. And I'm going to go ahead and break this in half so it'll fit in the glass. Now, you're going to dunk it into your coffee and roll it over a couple times. These are a little thicker and they don't absorb coffee that quickly. So I leave them in a little bit longer than the others. Just twirl them over, leave them in for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then take them out. And then you put your base down there in the glass. And now I'm going to come over here to the cream and fill it up with some tiramisu cream. All right, so we push that in there, push it down to fill in the crevices all the way to the bottom. Nice little layer. And then on top of this, we are going to put some of that chocolate. Okay, so I got my microplane here, and I'm going to just grate the chocolate over the top. Hopefully I can get most of it in the glass. There we go. So I'm going to put a little layer in there, just like that, to give it a nice little chocolatey flavor. Then we're going to go back and we're going to put in some more ladyfingers and put another layer in. You want to put at least 2 layers in. I'll put another one in there. Now remember, these are gluten-free, so if any of you like gluten-free tiramisu, this is a good recipe to try. Now we'll put our next layer of cream on top. It's very fluffy, so go ahead and use your fingers. Push it down so that it gets, like I said, into the crevices. I'm going to try and get another layer in here. So I'm going to go ahead and soak another one. Put it right on top, push it down. Look at that. Okay, now I'm going to put my last coating on top. Let's see, try it with this. Push it down onto your ladyfingers. All right. Now all we have to do to finish that off is we'll add a little bit more of our nice chocolate. Just grate it on top, and there you go. Everybody has their own individual little dessert. All right. Look at that. Oops, beautiful. Okay. Now another way to serve this up would be into a nice dish like this where you're serving a large group of people. So I'm going to take my regular ladyfingers and soak them and then just place them into the dish like this. And don't leave them in too long or they're going to absorb too much coffee and then they turn into mush. So we'll just do them just like that, a couple seconds in there. And line them up, and then you can always break them to make them fit your dish. Down to our last one here. That one, and I think we'll get one more in the corner here. Squeeze that in. All right, now we're going to put our about half or, well, maybe a quarter of our mascarpone and just spread it out. Want to just push it down into the crevices. We want to be able to put another layer, so we don't want to make this quite too thick. All right. Now we're going to put our chocolate, a nice coating of chocolate all the way around. I think this kind of chocolate is much superior to using cocoa powder. This has a better flavor. All right, now we'll go back to our next layer. Get them real close to each other. All right, now we're ready for our final layer of the mascarpone cheese. Place that on top. All right, now we're at our final coating of our chocolate. Well, there you have it. Tiramisu, simple, it's easy to do. I hope you'll try this. In fact, I can't wait to taste this again. I love making this dessert. And, oh, I just love eating this. This is fantastic. Give this a try. Let me know what you think. Thanks for taking time out of your day today to join me today in the kitchen. And I hope you enjoy this recipe. Be sure and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time. And I'm going to go eat some more of this dessert. All right. Thanks again. Bye.